Hi, I'm Lisa Hollister with Eye on Sun Valley. Welcome to Studio Time. Today we have a four-man band, Doghouse,
We can
an
start right.
eclectic feel of rock and roll in its very finest.
That's really nice of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Tell me about your musical interests and your backgrounds and what that means to Doghouse and how you've brought that all into its own style.
Jason?
Well, I grew up in Seattle and used to listen to Steve Miller on my little transistor radio in the yard, and and
I love it.
I loved I loved classic rock, and started playing the drums after making a deal with my parents that I'd play piano for a few years. And I did that, and then moved to the drums, and that's what I do now.
Nice.
Yeah, but you play guitar as well.
A little, yeah.
Upside down.
Right, I'm a lefty.
It's a southpaw. What about you, Brian?
I've grown up around music my whole life. Both my parents came from a classical musical background as violinists. And even on through to today, I've just learned how to listen to music and try and make some of my own. And Doghouse is a really unique, and we've all played in different groups. And this is one of the most open bands that I've played in that combines, I think you would agree, like a lot of different styles to make a unique offering, here in the Valley. And we try and learn from our favorite artists as well as interpret their music into a way that we enjoy and that people will dance to and have a good time listening to. And it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun doing.
Brian brought a new tune that we're just learning for the new album, and he presented this to us as a recording that he made with him playing the drums, the bass, the rhythm guitar, the lead guitar, and the vocals, just so we had a template to go with. And it's pretty cool. It's a cool song, and we're in the process of learning it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. I got made to play the piano for 4 years, and when I didn't have to play it anymore, I didn't play another instrument after the 4th or 5th grade until I was 21.
Really?
And what drove me there was going to see Widespread Panic and watching bands play in a way in which it was obvious that they were listening and communicating with each other non-verbally and creating different sounding shows and different sounding songs, or even the same versions of songs each night. So it was really a unique experience that transpired between the musicians and also between the band and the audience.
Nice.
And that kind of Southern rock improvisational style came in and blended with this Seattle experience, and these other guys have some rock and jazz experience, and it's pretty cool.
And it all comes
active
together
listening, yeah.
beautifully. How about you, Hannah?
Well, I'm the metalhead. So I grew up in the Bay Area playing guitar in hair metal bands. So, and then eventually
Your hair's so much shorter
I
now.
know, isn't it weird? Yeah. But at some point I realized that, well, I heard some what I call power pop. It's like punk music with really good melodies, and I went, what am I doing playing this kind of music? And so that took me from being a lead guitar player to learning how to play other instruments. And this is an amazing thing, is Jason can bring in a song where he's got all the parts already recorded. Brian can bring in a song, he's got the parts recorded. I can bring in a song where we've got all the parts already recorded. And the thing about it is when we do that, we're all listening to each other because we're not focused on our own instrument. And there's rarely a no. Brian and I both have an enjoyment of some heavy music. And in the middle of rehearsal, we'll do it. And Mr. Widespread Panic over here suddenly goes, what is that? And writes it down and goes and learns it.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, we're playing a Metallica song in rehearsal just for fun.
Right.
And that's amazing. And it's all of those elements become part of the Doghouse experience and the style of music that we are.
Yeah, that's fair.
I love it. How did you come to the name Doghouse?
Oh, well, it's a tip of the hat to the canine culture and the Austrian culture here in the Sun Valley. And it makes it's a little more fun to be sent to the Doghouse this way.
And it's got a little more European feel,
There's
the
that.
H-A-U-S.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
I
There's
like
the
it.
Austrian
This is
thing.
definitely
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
There's a little man cave in the
There's a
doghouse.
little man cave there.
Does anyone have to go there from time to time?
Well,
If they're lucky.
If they're lucky, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Can I
I was
please? It's
thinking
like
the
it's like
doghouse,
it's like
not the
Brer
man cave
Rabbit
here.
and the it's like Brer Rabbit and the Briar Patch. But please don't send me to the doghouse.
As a band, how do you keep finding a connection to yourselves and your audience to keep going and keep connecting with the community and keep writing songs and inspiring?
God, I feel really inspired by just playing with these guys because they're really creative and open and polished in their instruments, but not locked into what it should sound like. So,
Bands sometimes will do what they want to do and stick to that and then find an audience that likes that. Some bands go out and do what they think an audience would love to hear. And I think Doghaus has found a blend of something in between where we're able to do what we want to do, and it's ultimately going to sound like us, no matter what it is. But we're also thinking about the people that are out there on the dance floor. So we will tailor songs that are going to make them happy as well.
I would add something to what you guys were saying about, we all enjoy our businesses and our jobs and things like that. And when we come to we disconnect from that and then come into this band space. And what might not be obvious is how much work it takes to really learn the craft of music and learn how to express yourself through that. And it's a challenge. But I think there's I always sense a level of honesty, in the music that we create, that these guys create. Because as with any band, there's a dynamic and there's an intention, that maybe one person might try and, try to accomplish, and sometimes band members might not share that vision. That I don't feel like that's a problem with us. I think all of us are very open and recognize that each of us have
It's
inspirations.
It's trust and listening.
And it works out when we trust that. We come in with honesty. We just let our music happen. And sometimes it takes us to places where we never thought we could go, and we're looking at each other when we're done going, how do we do that? And that's really the only way that you can create that kind of a magic, is to just leave space for it to happen. And it's really, I enjoy it. I know you guys do. And I think what you were saying, Hannah, is the audience feels that. And we hope that they do, because that's the whole point of putting it out there, is for everybody to have an enjoyable experience. And I think we all
it's about,
share that.
Can you elaborate on the culmination of styles and the enrichment of music that you bring to this valley?
When we play shows and bring our originals and covers, we develop the covers in a way that feels true to us, and we choose covers very often that are pretty eclectic and recognized by a few people in the crowd who it's like B-sides of records, who perk up and say, like, I've never heard anybody play that tune, and it's really kind of cool the way you played it, and sometimes can't tell the difference between some of our originals and some of the covers, because there's just this range of styles that go from I don't know, like doing Miss Gradenko by The Police. It's a great example.
Master Blaster.
And Master Blaster
just
by
introduced that.
Stevie Wonder and Low Spark. We love doing that. In fact, we coined a term called left field when we would get out into the middle of it and just see where that would take us and follow.
That's my favorite part.
Follow the meandering thing and figure out exactly what's going to happen next. And sometimes it drops to a 3/4 time, or sometimes there's a lot of ambient stuff going on, and it's never the same.
Well, tell the folks about Play Hard, the album you cut in 2017 in Bellevue.
Yeah, so Play Hard we recorded at Gary Carlson's studio, and it's really it's an album. It's presented as an album. It opens with an instrumental called October, and it includes this range of Montuno, kind of a Latin kind of sound tune, to a ballad, to a thing called Thang that's about the
I like that song.
about the id, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just a weird kind of song that kind of gets funky, and then these dancing kind of tunes like Catchin' a Ride that also have these patterns of music that are rocking along and then change in terms of tempo and dynamic.
One thing I really liked about doing that record was we got to play with my son Beck,
Yeah,
who
Aw.
he's in college out of town right now, but he was here that summer that we recorded it and played keyboards on it, so that was really fun for me.
Does anyone feel as though they're an outlaw musician or an outlaw singer, meaning somebody that just doesn't hang out and follow the crowd and hang in there and do what everyone else has been doing for a very, very long time?
That's a good question. You know, I feel like what we've done with this band is definitely not standard by any stretch, and it's all about listening to each other and taking styles and blending them. And as much as that's outlaw music, then I suppose that's what we do.
Yeah, the attitude is about. For me, outlaw is about breaking rules. It's breaking norms. It's not going along with what other people expect of you. And I think Doghouse does that pretty well.
Fair
Especially
enough.
with the choice of music and the songs and the styles. You can't be this eclectic and follow rules.
And look how well you're received in this valley and for people all around. No, seriously.
We're really grateful that people come out and see us play, and
That's
and
Yeah.
they
The support is huge.
They reach out. Someone contacted me the other day asking for dates and on Facebook, and it's really great. You know, people show up. They're there to listen.
After this break, we're going to come back and we're going to hear their new song, Asylum.